It's interesting when people meet me, and in the context in which they meet me, they may make some assumptions about who I am or the background that I came from. And I think there's a lot of people that are like that. And I think the people who are very good, I believe, at building teams and leading groups of people can relate to different kinds of people. And so I think, like many business leaders, I have a very diverse background in terms of different experiences that I've had. I mentioned previously that I went to Stanford University. I was there for undergrad and law school and had a stint in Silicon Valley and was through the whole dot-com boom. So there are some assumptions that one might make that these were the formative years of my life, being someone from the West Coast and being someone who was involved in the tech boom. Other people who might have met me later would have met someone who was in New York during another subsequent boom in the financial services industry, and might make some assumptions that I'm somebody who's from the news and media and financial services world of London and New York, and part of that axis, that would also be true. I think what is also equally true, and maybe some people wouldn't know professionally, is that I grew up in Dallas, Texas, and in the surrounding area. And growing up as an Asian immigrant in Texas during a time when there wasn't a lot of people there who looked like me or who had the same background on me, had just as equally an important part of forming who I am. And I think when you are this other person, when you are someone who isn't part of the norm or the mainstream, there's a couple of different paths that you can go in terms of how you develop. You could retreat into yourself or into your own community. You could find comfort in trying to be with just people who remind you of who you are. That's very hard to do when everyone's different from you. And that can actually, I think, take away some of your confidence. That can make you withdraw from the larger world. I think I took the other path, which was to say, I am who I am, and to have great confidence in myself, and just be very confident in who I am, and not necessarily try to be like the people who are around me, because they are different. You know, and no matter how hard I might try, no matter how good of a person I can be in terms of how I relate to people, I cannot change the color of my skin. I wouldn't change the way that my name is spelled. I wouldn't change the history of who I am. And so you have to be comfortable in your own skin. Being able to do that in an environment where people were not like me actually was great training to have confidence in myself and who I am through all the facets of life. I think the other thing that I learned growing up in Texas was the deep friendships that I formed with people in Texas. And I think I relate very easily and very naturally when I still meet people from Texas to this day. And so one of the things that I find quite interesting about people who are successful in life is you draw from these different experiences of who you are. And if you're doing it the right way, you find a positive to all the different experiences that you had. And so I think it's a great benefit that I've had some very diverse and maybe some incongruous experiences together, but it's really allowed me to learn some of the skills that have helped me to be successful. But really, the most important thing that all these different experiences have given me is a real good understanding about who I am inside, what defines who Thomas Kim is. What do I have to hold dear to myself? What do I feel confident about? That I'm never going to be afraid of who I am. But also that confidence allows me to be open and minded about what can I learn? How can I grow? How can I be better? Because I think sometimes a lack of humility comes from insecurity. If you're more secure, I think you're more open to learning, doing new things, possibly failing, learning from these kinds of challenges and experiences. So I really look at my immigrant experience, and I think in my experience of growing up in Texas, going to school in California and starting my private practice and my career there, all the years that I spent in New York and a lot of time working in London, and my different years working in Asia as a professional and as an expatriate, as all being equally important in terms of forming who I am today.